everyone, it's Miss Quick. For this video, I wanted to make sure that you can see me just so that I can hold up my fingers for certain things, okay? We're going to be talking about 2-digit minus 1-digit subtraction with borrowing. And the first example that we're going to do is a subtraction question that does not involve borrowing so that we can see the difference, okay? The first one that we're going to look at is 88 minus 4. Notice how I lined up the place values so that that ones place is all lined up because the number 4 only has a ones place, okay? As always, we're going to start by subtracting the ones place. So we're going to do 8 minus 4 or 8 take away 4, okay? So I can hold up 8 fingers because I'm going to do 8 take away 4. So I have 8, now I'm going to take away 4. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, when I had 8 and I took away 4, I was left with 4. So that means 8 minus 4 is 4. So I'm going to write that in the ones place. Now I have to just subtract the tens place. So I'm just doing 8 minus 0 because there's no other number in the tens place. And 8 minus 0 is just 8, so I'll write that down underneath the line. Now that's an example of a question without needing to borrow. I'm going to erase this now so that we can see the difference. Okay. So, for example, if I had 82 minus 4, same thing, I lined up my ones place and I made sure the numbers are very similar, okay? You're going to go from the ones place and you always need to go from top to bottom. So we are going to be doing 2 take away 4. You cannot just choose to do 4 take away 2. It's always top to bottom. So we're going to do 2 take away 4. Let's see what happens when we try to do that. I'll hold up 2. Now let's take away 4. 1, 2. I have no other numbers to take away. So that means you cannot do 2 minus 4, okay? When I did that, I tried to take away 4, and I had no more numbers. So you cannot do 2 minus 4, and this is where we'll need to borrow, okay? Now, whenever this happens, I like to draw out on the side what's actually happening so we can better understand it, okay? These numbers only either have a tens place or a ones place. So over here, I'm going to make a chart that has a T for tens and an O for ones, okay? Underneath the tens column, I'm going to write how many tens I have in this number on top, 82. In the number 82, you have 8 tens because the number 8 is in the tens place. So I'm going to write out 8 tens so that I can just understand what I have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'll write this one on top because I'm running out of room. 8. So let me check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 tens, okay? In the ones place, I only have 2 ones, so I'm going to show that like this underneath the ones place because I have 2 ones. What I'm going to do in order to get more ones so that I can take away 4 is I'm going to borrow from next door, from the tens place. So what I'll do is I'll just circle a 10 because that's what I'm going to borrow, and I'm going to move it over to the ones place. But when I move it over, I can't keep it as a 10 because now it's in the ones place. So I'm going to write out how many ones are in a 10. So if you need to check, all you have to do is count by ones until you get to 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you only have 10 ones to make a 10. So I'm going to show that over here. When I moved it, I have 10 ones. I'm moving them over. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, okay? And I'm just going to scribble this out so I know that I borrowed that 10 from the tens place and moved it into the ones place. Now I need to show it over here on my numbers. So what I have to figure out now is how many tens do I have left since I took a 10 away. So I'm going to count how many tens I have so I can see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I only have 7 tens left in the tens place. So that means I'm going to cross out the 8 because I don't have 8 tens anymore. Now I only have 7 tens. That's why I'm going to put a 7 in the tens place, okay? Now I need to think, how many ones do I now have since I took a 10 and brought it over? Now, remember, I already had 2, and these ones right here, let's see. I had these 2 right here, okay? And then the rest of them, that was 10 ones. So I can just do 10 plus 2 that I already had, which is 12. Or I could just count all these ones to make sure that I have 12. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cross off the 2 in the ones place because I don't just have 2 ones anymore. Now I have 12 ones. So I'm going to write the number 12 on top. Now the number 12 is much bigger than 2. So now I definitely can take away 4 from 12. And the way that I like to do this, the easiest thing I think you can do, is you can start at 4 and count up to 12, and then whatever number got you to 12 is what 12 minus 4 will be. So let me show you how to do that. So what I like to do is I'll put 4 on my head, I'll say 4, and I'll count up to 12 with my fingers and see how many fingers I counted up, and that'll be our answer. So ready? We'll do 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I'll look at my fingers and see how many I put up to get up to 12, and that is 8. So 12 minus 4 is 8. So I'm going to put that in the ones place right there. So 12 minus 4 is 8. Now all I need to do is figure out what 7 minus 0 is because there is nothing in the tens place right here. So I'll just do 7 minus 0 is 7. So I'm just going to write that on the line right here. Okay, now I'm going to erase this and then I'm going to write an example that I would like you to try on your own, and I would like you to pause the video so once I write it down so that you can try that example on your own, and then we'll talk about it together. Okay, I would like you to do 63 minus 5. Try that on your own. Go ahead and pause the video now. Okay, now that you've played the video, we're going to talk about how to solve this question. So remember, you always start with the ones place. Always start with the ones place. So let's see, I have 3 minus 5. Remember, you always have to go from top to bottom. You can't just go subtract from the bottom up. So we're going to do 3, take away 5. So let's try that with our fingers. I'll hold up 3. Now let's take away 5. 1, 2, 3. I don't have any other numbers to take away, so I cannot subtract 3 minus 5. So that means we'll have to borrow. So I'm going to draw another chart off to the side so we can see what's happening. So I'll have a T for how many tens I have and an O for how many ones. Now let's look at that number 63. So we're just looking at the top number. I want to see how many tens I have in that number. There's a 6 in the tens place, so that means I have 6 tens. So I'm going to write out 6 tens under my T for tens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because I have 6 tens. Okay, now what I'm going to do is for that number 63 is I'm going to look at my ones place and see how many ones I have. And there's a 3 in the ones place, so that means I have 3 ones. And I'm going to show that underneath the ones column just like this. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, since I don't have enough ones, I need to borrow from next door, from the tens place. So I'm going to circle a 10 because I'm borrowing a 10. I'm going to make an arrow this way because I'm showing that I'm bringing it over. Remember, I can't just write that number as a 10 because now it's in the ones place, so I need to turn it into ones. So if I have the number 10, what I can do is I can just break it apart into how many ones equals 10, and that's just 10 ones, okay? So I'm going to do that off to the side in the ones column. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and I'm also going to scribble out this 10 just to remind myself that it's now gone from the tens place. I took it and I brought it into the ones place. Right now I need to show what I just did on my numbers over here. So let's see how many tens I have left in my tens place. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only have 5 tens left in my tens place, so I'm going to cross out that 6, and I'm going to write 5 because there are only 5 tens. Okay, now let's figure out how many ones I now have in my ones place. Remember, I started with 3. That's how many I had already because of the number 63. And then I added 10 more. So I'm going to do 3 plus 10, which is 13. So now I have 13 ones, or you could even count all those ones to make sure you have 13. Okay, so I'm going to cross this out. I now have 13 ones. Now I have enough ones to take away 5. So I'm going to do 13 minus 5. Remember, the easiest thing to do is to put 5 on your head. Start with 5, count up to 13, and see what the difference was so that you can figure out what 13 minus 5 is. Okay, so I'll put 5 on my head, count up to 13. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So if I look and see how many fingers I counted up, that was 8. So that means that 13 minus 5 is 8. And I'm going to write that in my ones place below. Okay. Now all I need to do is 5 minus 0. And 5 minus 0 is just 5. So I'm just going to bring that 5 from the tens place down here, and your answer should be 58.